Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us. My name is Pam Pierce, and I would like to welcome you to our second annual Trident United Way Breakfast for Impact. I am proud to serve as the chair of the Palmetto Society again this year and host of this year's event. We have a wonderful group of Palmetto Society members and friends here today, and we can't wait to share with you how you've made an impact in our community this year. I hope you received your doorstep delivery yesterday and are having a delightful cup of coffee and muffin with us right now. I am. On behalf of the Trident United Way Board of Directors, Chloe Knight-Toney, President and CEO of Trident United Way, and myself, thank you for your participation in today's Breakfast for Impact and for your incredible generosity this past year. We are grateful to each and every one of you for your philanthropy. I am honored to introduce our President and CEO, Chloe Knight-Toney. Under Chloe's leadership, Trident United Way has risen to the challenge of meeting our community's most critical needs during this pandemic. And just when Chloe had left the CDC after 17 years and joined our staff, I'm sure she thought our pandemic work was over. Her experience and knowledge have been invaluable throughout the last year, and we are so incredibly grateful to her. Now I am going to turn it over to Chloe to give us an overview of how your generosity has made a difference this year. A little housekeeping before we begin. Take a moment to locate the Q&A in the control panel of your webinar screen. During this call, as the presenters are speaking, please feel free to type your comments or questions in the box. We will have an opportunity to address these at some point during the presentations. Only the moderator will see your questions and will share it with the speaker on your behalf. With no further ado, Chloe, thank you so much for all that you do for the Trident United Way.
Thank you so much, Pam, and thanks to all of you for joining us this morning. Good morning, everyone, and a special thanks to all of our volunteers, our sponsors, and our donors. I really want to thank you, Pam, and tell you how grateful we are to you for taking the lead on this event for now the second year in a row and working so diligently as chair of the Palmetto Society. I also think it's important this morning for us to both remember and to recognize Bill Hall and the Hall family who hosted us last year at their Hall's event space. Bill is certainly greatly missed by everyone in this community, and he will always be a cherished member of our Trident United Way family. Thank you especially to our presenting sponsor, Dominion Energy, for supporting this special event and Giving Tuesday, a global giving opportunity, which also happens to be today. Thank you to Bill Turner and his wonderful team at Dominion, not just for this, but for all they make possible for people all across our region. We are really grateful. So thank you again, Dominion Energy. And most importantly, we're grateful to each of you for being part of our Trident United Way and Tri-County family. Our work simply would not be possible without you. So each of you should have received a link to our digital copy of our 2020 Philanthropy and Impact Report. Last year was a milestone for Trident United Way as we celebrated our 75th anniversary and our very long history in this community. This past year, of course, looks dramatically different from previous years as we were and still are in the midst of a pandemic. The last 8 months have required and empowered us to reimagine how we must do more faster and work even more effectively to harness innovations and scale what works throughout our communities. In spite of the pandemic, Trident United Way continued working 24/7 to ensure that our immediate response to secure our community remained both rapid and robust, knowing all the while that this would be a longitudinal response. Powered by your generosity, Trident United Way, in this instance, is the front line and among the first responders running toward the threat through our Resource Connection Centers, our AmeriCorps members and program, our partner agencies, our fearless volunteers, our network of more than 400 agencies, and our 211 resource line, all fueled by the unstoppable power of philanthropy. While life as we know it has changed significantly, our shared hope of a better tomorrow cannot be deterred because even COVID can't stop the good. And now just a word about the power of partnerships. In this pandemic, we were able to continue our usual day-to-day work and pivot to serve as a lifeline for our community at a time when we saw Charleston County food requests soar to more than 818% above average in the first 2 weeks of the pandemic. We were able to accelerate and scale our usual philanthropy to include an additional $1.1 million of emergency COVID-19 philanthropy, along with free technical assistance to other foundations, municipalities, and schools. Throughout the pandemic, we have had the privilege of diligently working with many of you, our donors and our partners, to recover, stabilize, feed, educate, clothe, or house families, children, and others, meeting each one of them at their greatest points of need. You went above and beyond to help in this crisis, and we can never thank you enough for what you've made possible. So let's talk about education. Trident United Way recently completed our most successful literacy partnership in our 75-year history. The Reading by Third project was a pilot program that offered innovative teacher training from the University of Florida Lastinger Institute. It helped teachers learn how to meet students at their individual levels and increase their ability to read. Trident United Way invested more than $1.3 million philanthropic dollars over the course of this 3-year program, and 729 struggling students in 12 schools across the Tri-County participated in the program. We saw an overall grade level reading growth between 17 and 38%, with an average of 24% improvement. Those are significant gains for our children who are learning to read. Morgan and Joanne Morton, local community members, recognized the success of this program and knew we needed to bring it to students on Johns Island who were falling behind. And thus, the new Literacy United Johns Island was born. The Mortons gathered local philanthropists and spread the word about Literacy United, which would be the newest iteration of the Reading by Third project. Together, they raised the funds to launch the program at Mount Zion Elementary. The program kicked off with the teacher training in August, safely, of course, in the middle of the pandemic. One of the best aspects of Literacy United is that it is COVID adjacent. The work continues and is even more necessary with students learning from home, often with limited resources. So let's talk about how we celebrate partnership and financial stability. 2019 marked 1 decade of partnership with the National AmeriCorps program to serve the Tri-County. Since 2009, Trident United Way's AmeriCorps program has grown from 8 members to 20 members, a remarkable and unusual growth for AmeriCorps partner organizations. In 2019, Trident United Way's Jocelyn Johnson received the Program Director of the Year Award from the South Carolina Commission on National and Community Service. Last year alone, Trident United Way AmeriCorps members connected more than 14,000 families to more than 1,500 basic needs and crisis mitigation services. They assisted nearly 1,500 families in free tax filing and provided more than 500 clients with one-on-one budgeting guidance. And this, again, in the midst of a pandemic. It is your philanthropy that enables Trident United Way to sustain and grow that AmeriCorps program. These impressive statistics and all the change they represent for real people in our community are possible because of you. Let's talk about health. One of the most exciting events in the world of Trident United Way health initiatives was when we were awarded a Duke Endowment grant last August. This grant funded our National Diabetes Prevention Program work and rural diabetes hotspots in our region. Through the Diabetes Prevention Program, Trident United Way is working to identify individuals as diabetic and pre-diabetic and establish the care and supports they need to make healthy decisions. Diabetes Prevention Program coordinators at locations like the Somerville YMCA help people like Mary Nixon afford and participate in the program. Mary is just one example of a neighbor who has learned how to use healthy eating habits and exercise as ways to control her diabetes, a leading healthcare expense in our nation. Through the Diabetes Prevention Program, she has lost 20 pounds. Mary's not alone. There are so many in our area who face the same struggle that she does. With our program, we're offering both hope and help to achieve a healthier life for the people of the Tri-County. The Duke Endowment Grant was certainly a huge and exciting milestone for Trident United Way, but the program and the grant would not have happened without your personal support that allows us to leverage public and private support to serve this community. So we thank you again for that. So what you've seen here this morning is just a small glimpse into the impact made possible because of your gifts. Each success mentioned here today and the thousands more that we don't have time to highlight are possible because of the deep trust between Trident United Way and our donors, our partners, and community leaders. Fortunately, Trident United Way did not wait until a global health emergency to begin exchanging business cards with other leaders in our community. We have 76 years of deep local knowledge, essential partnerships, and top-notch tools to draw upon, ensuring that the right resources reach the right people at the right time. What I've learned is that Trident United Way, in earnest, is doing the work of a much larger organization. I see the constant themes of security, trust, partnership, and resilience that drive our imperative to scale our reach through heightened engagement and effective philanthropy. Why is this important? Because our community can't wait. Its needs are urgent, and the speed of philanthropy makes so much possible for the people of our region in real time. As a Palmetto Society member, your leadership is absolutely vital to how we continue to scale the work of Trident United Way. We have barely scratched the surface of needs that simply are not receding. And now, together, we have a once-in-a-century opportunity to invite others to our table, to understand the enduring value of our mandate to serve the public good. In all of this, no one knows the scope of what will be required to rebuild stronger, more resilient communities. But what we do know is that Trident United Way is purpose-built for whatever it takes, and we've been drilling and practicing and serving for now 76 years. So again, I just want to thank you, each one, for the depth of your care for our community. And Pam, I want to thank you again for leading this important and noble charge for our community.
Thank you, Chloe, so much for your leadership and for sharing with all of our attendees this morning. It was great to hear from you. As Pam noted, we have the opportunity for some questions and answers as time permits. So wanted to remind you the chat box is in the bottom right-hand corner, and you can submit questions there that will be seen by the panelists. We've only gotten a couple thus far, so I'm going to start with those, and we'll see how much time we have before we move on to the next part of the presentation. But Chloe, our first question is, our community is hurting more than ever due to the pandemic. What can we do as donors and volunteers to help United Way meet the needs of our local families?
Thanks, Kristen. That is a terrific and very important question. And, you know, as I view this, looking across the community, what I see is that the support that our donors, our volunteers, our advocates provide to us really make Trident United Way a go-to place for social impact. And that philanthropic support is absolutely vital to how we meet the ongoing commitments that we have across the region to our community, as well as meeting those emergent needs that arise that we now refer to as COVID adjacent. Everything we do for the next 2 to 5 years, we know will be COVID adjacent and have been impacted by what we have seen happen throughout the course of the pandemic. So I would simply encourage folks to give now. This is a group that has been very generous to us. I encourage and thank you in advance for continuing to give generously to support this work, because it allows us to effectively meet the needs of more people. You heard the stat at the top of some of my comments that early on in the pandemic, we saw needs increasing by more than 1,818% above average. That is going to continue as we go into these next phases of the pandemic, and certainly well into the spring. So philanthropic support is just absolutely essential, and advocacy, encouraging others to become involved, to get engaged, to understand our mandate to serve and help support our mission.
Another question in the same scope, but more on the philanthropy charity side. I saw on the nightly news that charities, including United Way, are suffering when people need them most. Is Trident United Way experiencing them? And probably to tag on to your last question, what can we do to help? Do you have any thoughts there?
Right. Well, I will tell you, we, in a recent conversation we had with several board members, when we were talking about philanthropy and the need, we realized that donors have been so generous and are giving and giving, and we certainly need that. All of our not-for-profit community needs that. And as I said to this smaller group of folks, if we had an additional $1 million right now today, we would know what to do with it. And I think that could be said for many of our not-for-profit partners across the region. What is unique about Trident United Way, again, is the nature of the tools that we have, our 211, our charity tracker, tools that allow us to really see and understand the changing conditions of the community so that we will know what needs people are requesting, what assistance they need this week that may be different from what they needed 2 weeks ago. And I think that is the beauty of United Way as an umbrella organization in our community, really understanding the needs, but also understanding who are our go-to partners, who are the partners that we go to help us meet those needs in real time and do so most effectively. So again, there are no shortage of ways in which to do good, and we certainly always consider it an absolute privilege when individuals choose Trident United Way as their philanthropic change agent.
I'm excited to have gotten this question. With today being Giving Tuesday, how do we give through this event to TUW? And I can give you the link, which we'll share at the end, which is tuw.org/GivingTuesday. Chloe, do you want to share a little bit about our specific Giving Tuesday here at Trident United Way?
Yes, thank you so much. What a wonderful question. And the funds that we raise today on Giving Tuesday, and as a footnote, annually about $2 billion are raised around the world on Giving Tuesday for charities of all descriptions. So it's a wonderful day to go out and do more good. We are going to be focused on the work of our Resource Connection Centers, which we have one in Berkeley and one in Dorchester County, where we actually bring together partner organizations to serve individuals and families who need any type of assistance. And it is a wonderful hub of opportunity where people can come. They may come in the door for one need that they have, but on average, people who visit and work with our Resource Connection Centers and are incredible experts in them leave having received anywhere from 3 to 5 services. So we are very excited, and as I mentioned, those escalating needs across the community, we see that action in our Resource Connection Centers. Again, a go-to place for people who need help and a go-to place for donors who want to make social impact in real time.
Thank you, Chloe. And I think there couldn't be a more perfect segue as you talk about our Resource Connection Centers and what a lifeline they've been to this community throughout the pandemic, that I get to introduce one of my favorite people, Mrs. Kathy Easley, who has been on the front lines of serving our community and our families for over 30 years. And she's here with her friend, Miss Melrose, and I'm going to let her introduce her, but I will turn it over to Kathy now.
Good morning. Thank you, Kristen. It is so good to be with all of you this morning, and I've looked at some of the names and see lots of old friends who will, I think, enjoy hearing the story of the centers and how they have evolved over the years. But I want to introduce Ms. Melrose Smith to you. Ms. Melrose is in our Dorchester office, and we're going to actually talk with her in a few minutes. But I'm going to start off with just telling you about the centers and why do we have them and when did they get started. So our incredible board of directors about 32 years ago realized the importance of having services in the rural areas. We were a tri-county United Way, but most of the services were located in Charleston. So they first opened what was called a service center in Berkeley County, in Moncks Corner. It opened with 2 agencies, Trident United Way and the Salvation Army. And we were co-located together so that people could come in, a one-stop shop. That quickly grew, and we moved into a larger space and then eventually purchased our building that we are now in Moncks Corner. It was so successful that not quite 30 years ago, they opened the office on Main Street in Somerville in Dorchester County, and that's actually when I came to work for Trident United Way, was to open that center. It was a great opportunity to watch volunteers work together. We took an old pool hall and turned it into a local center and housed quite a few agencies in that office as a one-stop. But at that time, we really were focused on basic needs. It's so important to know that we have 2 locations, but that both locations serve all 3 counties. So I want to make sure that's noted. But the rural areas really did struggle to get to the services in Charleston, so this took care of that. The purpose was to help mitigate those emergent needs for people. If someone doesn't have food, they probably need 3 or 4 other things. It's just not about food. So we began partnering with agencies and churches that may have been located nearby. How could we all work together to make sure that these services were provided for people? And it was just a great way for us as United Way to enter into the community. But we quickly saw that it couldn't just be about emergency services. We needed to look at the whole person. Why don't they have food? What can we do to help them move from crisis to stability to self-sustainability? It's critical. Are we really helping people if we're just helping with an emergent need and they have to come back over and over and over again? So we really began focusing on that self-sustainability piece. And that would look different for different people. It could mean a job. It could mean a home-delivered meal because someone is homebound. What was it about that person that they needed to make them self-sustainable? So that's when we moved into the name of Resource Connection Centers. We are a resource for the community. We can help provide those resources, connect people with the services that they need. And that is just critical. The system itself is very hard to maneuver if you don't know where to go. And so having our family navigators, which are our AmeriCorps members in those centers, and people there that can help direct them is very critical to their success. Some of the barriers that we have seen for people in moving forward, some are large, some are very large. During COVID, we've had very large barriers that we've had to help people overcome. Large rents, large basic needs, but sometimes the barriers are not that large. Sometimes they can be barriers to employment. So someone gets a construction job, but they haven't been working. They have to have work boots to start their job. They don't have any money because they haven't been working to buy those work boots. And so it just starts the cycle of not being able to move forward. Registration fees for child care or after school care. If you haven't been working, you don't have that $25 to pay that registration fee. You can't start your job because you don't have the $25. When you go to work in the food industry, you almost always have to have black tennis shoes to wear with your uniform. If you haven't been working, again, you don't have those things. Clothes to start a new job. You've got to have a week's worth of clothes if you're in a job that you've got to be, you don't have a uniform. And so helping people get those things, which is why the partnerships are so important. During the pandemic, our initial need, which is very, very often the case in any kind of emergency, is food. As Chloe said, there was an 818% increase in the request for food, and our local pantries were incredible during the pandemic. They never closed. They learned how to serve clients by, they stayed in their car, they popped the trunk, a volunteer would put the food in the trunk. So people continued to be served during the pandemic. Our Resource Connection Center stayed open virtually. Our staff never missed a beat in serving clients. And with technology these days, it really made a difference in how we were able to serve people. The use of Charity Tracker during the pandemic was incredible to help us be paperless, to have all of the information we needed on each client, and to be able to share that with other agencies that were actually helping us serve that client. Our next largest request during the pandemic was utility assistance. Our utility companies were so gracious with our clients, but at some point they knew they would have to pay their bill. So utility assistance was the next largest request, then rental assistance and water bill assistance. That has changed a little right now. Rental assistance is the largest request, but we're hoping to see that go down soon as people get back to work. We have partnered, the power of partnership. I love that. The partnerships we have, and you can see some of them on this slide. They are by no means all of our partners. So we partner with other agencies, with faith-based organizations, with local churches to provide the needs that people have to help them move forward. So these are some that you can see right here on the slide. Our employment, SC Works, is located in both of our offices. Palmetto Community Action Partnership is in our Berkeley office, but is accessible to our Dorchester office. SC Thrive is one of our big partners in helping with our free tax assistance, helping people apply for benefits if they need them. Salvation Army, I could go on and on and on. But Palmetto Goodwill is also a large partnership, and they have a program called CSEP for short, but it's called, it actually is, I'm so sorry, Ms. Melrose, what is your program called?
It's called the Senior Community Service Employment Program.
Senior Community Service Employment Program. And we have partnered with them for years, and that program provides job training for people over 55, and they work in our centers, and we provide job training. And it has been an incredible, incredible partnership in our community, not just for us, but the people that serve in those positions. Ms. Melrose is one of those people. She has been with us for how long, Ms. Melrose?
3 years.
3 years she has been with us in the Dorchester office, and it is such an honor to have her there, and she adds so much to that office. And she was so gracious this year to be a part of our video, our campaign video, which we're going to show you in just a second. And we are just so thankful for her and for Amanda Nadell, who is the manager at the Dorchester Center. And they are quite a pair in that office in serving our community. That office is located, again, a partnership with Dorchester District 2 Adult Ed Center. So our office is actually located in that center. And Amanda and Melrose take care of that community just in an amazing way. So we're going to show you the video, and then we're going to talk to Ms. Melrose for just a minute.
I drove school bus for about 20-something years, and I worked at Hardee's fast food restaurant. Someone had to help me. I didn't know how to even cut a computer on. I didn't know nothing. And, and they showed me, and I practiced, like doing a little paragraph and everything. And then all of a sudden, they said they had a job opening for, front desk, receptionist. And I said, oh, Lord, have mercy, how am I going to do this?
She worked at the front desk initially just answering phones, but as she was with us longer, we trained her on the computer. So then she started doing data entry and kind of working in Charity Tracker. And I started to kind of feel her out and see if she was comfortable with learning more. And over the years, she's just kind of been a sponge, and she's just absorbed everything that I've taught her. So she's definitely become more of a right-hand man.
Everything was brand new. The mouse, the keyboard, it was the whole computer. I was just plain old scared of a computer. Oh, I feel confidence. I'm getting, I feel a whole better. And I'm learning to, give email, because I couldn't send email, and I can start ordering stuff that I couldn't do one time and use the printer. It gave me a whole opportunity to where when I had to go and find somebody or pay somebody to do something, now I can just do it on my own now. Yes.
We provide connection to resources that help families become more financially stable. It definitely has an added touch that she knows people's names and their grandkids and where they live and where they went to school.
You know, this is a small community and everybody knows everybody. And
you can definitely tell she leaves a lasting positive impact on people. It truly is the power of partnerships in the centers and working united that really helps us to become as successful as we are.
It is really wonderful to know that you're helping someone, you know, who really need help.
Ms. Melrose, thank you so much for sharing your story and being on this video and for taking such good care of our children for so many years when you drove a school bus. And I hear you know everyone in Somerville?
Yes.
You do. So tell us, how long did you drive a school bus?
25 years.
25 years, goodness. And what school district?
Dorchester District 2.
Okay, so you drove for Dorchester District 2. And this is the big question. Why did you start driving the school bus? You told me a great story yesterday.
I started driving because I needed a babysitter for my son. And I found out I could drive the school bus and take him to and from school and still be able to work.
Great. And how did he like that?
It was so-so.
So-so.
Mama was there watching over him.
Oh, my goodness. So how did you find out about the Senior Community Service Employment Program?
I found out with a friend. She was telling me about the program because I was out of work, and she told me to go down and talk to the Goodwill, and they have a program, the CSAP program for 55 and older, and to help them find employment.
Good. Was it a long process?
No.
No. So how did you get placed in Dorchester?
Well, I went down there, and Mr. Robert Sewer, he took my application, did all the information, and then he got in touch with Miss Day. And so she was our coordinator over in Dorchester County, and I got in touch with her. And then she did the paperwork, and then she found employment to send me to do jobs.
Okay. All right. So what has this program meant to you?
It meant a whole lot to me because it helped me develop more of my job skills, and it gave me helped me build up my experience for the work and through the computer. And most of all, it gave me my self-confidence where I can feel that I can, do work and everything, feel comfortable.
And what has working at the Dorchester Resource Connection Center meant to you?
Oh, it meant a whole lot to me because it gives me the opportunity to meet other people and to work with them and the community.
Do you see a lot of people that you know there?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. So you mentioned in the video that everything was new. What are some of the most useful things that you've learned in this position that Amanda has taught you and that you've learned over the years?
Well, mostly I learned how to use the computer, browse, and I can pay my bills and order stuff, and then I learned how to send and receive emails, and I learned how to scan, and and this, it's just an exciting thing to do.
Technology can be fun, can it?
Yes.
What are some of the skills that you have learned have really helped you in your everyday life, that have really changed how you do things in your everyday life?
being able to just, instead of have to, just going around and just technology, like you said, technology, I can just do things and.
So you're able to pay your bills and things like that.
And everything. I don't have to go out to, I can just go online and just pay my bills and.
Does that feel good?
Yes, it does.
That's great. That's great.
Yes.
And what opportunities has this opened up for you?
It opened up a whole lot for me because, it gave me a whole new way I can, I just didn't think it gave a whole lot of opportunity because it opened up so much for me. So I didn't think I didn't have the opportunity to I just thought I can for my jobs and stuff. And I can go and apply for a job and feel comfortable by me learning the computer and everything. I can be able to have just as much opportunity as the others to be able to get that job.
So what does it mean to you to be working in a job that helps so many people?
Oh, it's a wonderful feeling, just seeing that person. We're not going to be able to help everyone, but just seeing that person out there, they know that they have some kind of hope that they can be able to get help and stuff.
And why do you think it's important that the Resource Connection Center is located in the Adult Ed Center, even though it serves the whole community in any county? Why do you think it's important that it's in the Adult Education Center?
It can help to improve the lives of many people. It also provides resources to those who need help with emergency financial assistance, shelter, food, health care, education, and especially jobs.
Great. And how important has this work been, this work with the Senior Community Employment Program and your work with Try to United Way meant to you?
It meant the world to me. Just gave me a feeling that, that just helping someone, and by me doing that, and just see the expression on the people's face and everything, and this.
Anything else you want to share with us? Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming today and being here with us. And I just want to thank all of you so much. It is such an honor and a privilege to be serving in this community, and for all of you that have been here, and I can see your names on here for so long and have made all of this happen. This is on the ground impact, and I just want to thank you so much. I've said before, I have the best job in Try to United Way because I get to see every day on the ground what you do for the community, and I really mean that from my heart. So thank you, and thank you, Ms. Melrose, for being a part of that.
Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you.
Thank you, and Ms. Kathy and Ms. Melrose, we're not letting y'all go just yet. We've got a couple questions for you, but first I wanted to say, Ms. Melrose, we had a couple of people just say thank you for sharing your story, and we are so grateful that you were willing to do that and to join us today. And on behalf of about 80 people in this event, that's like 2 school buses full of children that are just thrilled to hear your story, and we're so grateful. Our first question is for Ms. Kathy, and someone said, you've seen so many challenges and events, not sure what to call them, between all the hurricanes and disasters that you've helped Try to United Way respond to in the time you've been with Try to United Way. Can you name one thing about the community's needs that have stayed the same and one thing that has changed?
Oh, my goodness. As far as needs in any kind of a disaster, and I would consider this pandemic a disaster, Food is always the biggest need. And we do such a great job in this community responding to that. I would say the biggest change that I have seen over the years is we all of the agencies, churches, faith-based organizations, because they're so busy, they spent so much time working in silos, and those silos are gone. I mean, everybody, it is just amazing how this community works together. And that is what helps us serve people in a more coordinated and efficient way to have a long-term effect on their life. And I would say that has been the biggest change over the years that I've been here.
Great. Thank you. Good answer. This question's for Ms. Melrose. Ms. Melrose, if you could give advice to somebody who's thinking about taking a computer course or the kind of training you received, but they're scared because they think it's too late, what would you say?
I would tell them to go and give it a chance. Because we tell them that, you never know, until you try it. And
you never know till you
Well, I think you've inspired us all today to try something that maybe we were too scared to before. The next question is for Ms. Kathy, and the question is, are there any plans to put a Resource Connection Center on the peninsula or any other location in the Tri-County area? And if so, if either way, do you see a need for that?
We would love to be able to do that. There's always a need for services, and I think Chloe mentioned the word hub. That is such a critical. We have found that is such a critical piece to have hubs where different services are located in one place, and so I think that's something that we can look towards for the future. Trying to figure out the best place for something like that to be. Because of our geography in this community is a challenge. But I will tell you that technology, and it's one of the pieces that we have learned, one of the positive things that came out of the pandemic is we can serve people remotely and virtually if we need to. And with the transportation issues in this community, our community has learned to do that very, very, very well. And I think we will see a change even after the pandemic on how much better, how more easily we're able to serve people and possibly not have them travel somewhere. So I'm anxious to see how that can work.
Thank you. Chloe, do you have anything you wanted to say there?
Well, can you tell I'm just about to pop? So, yes, I love that question, and absolutely, we want and we need a Resource Connection Center on the peninsula. Kathy mentioned that this is a program, it's about a 32-year-old model, and it is a gold standard. It works, and it works because it brings the community together. It brings the partners together. So we are very anxious to think about, we have a plan actually for how we may go about doing that, and our plan needs philanthropy and funding to help bring that to fruition. So when this model was created, the centers were located in Berkeley and Dorchester County because those were considered rural at the time. And while there still may be some rural nature to those counties, part of that rationale was also that it was, at the time, it was felt that Charleston County had sufficient resources and agencies to serve people. And what we now know is, of course, the entire region has exploded in terms of growth. And the landscape has changed dramatically and remains very dynamic. So we absolutely would love to have a physical. We have some virtual presence. We would love to have more of both in terms of a Resource Connection Center in Charleston County. So I want to hug whoever asked that question. Thank you so much.
Okay, and one last question for Ms. Kathy. This is related to our COVID-19 response and our ability to deploy funds to our partners to meet their needs. Was there anything you'd like to share with this group that surprised you about the certain needs that we saw, or something that struck you you'd like to share?
I think I was really struck by the needs. It always makes me so sad in our community when someone particularly does not have food. And that definitely was the immediate need. But the need as people were out of work for months, I had just to help you understand that people don't always have the capacity or the ability to follow through with things like unemployment. So I had a gentleman that did not have a computer. He'd lost his job. He borrowed a friend's computer, tried to apply for unemployment, did not receive it, tried to call. They were just so overwhelmed they were not able to answer the phone, and he went 6 months without unemployment. He was unable to get any, and we met him when he was just about to be evicted. And were able, actually, because of some grant funds that came into the community, we worked with another agency, but it really struck me that we have to look at policies and at procedures we set up to make sure that we're covering everyone, that not everybody has a computer and can just go to their laptop or knows how to apply for unemployment or knows how to apply for benefits, and that we have to make sure that we look at all of those things so that everyone has access to everything.
Thank you, and thank you again on behalf of our attendees and our organization for everything you do. And I can't imagine what this last couple months would have looked like without 211 and without Charity Tracker and without the two of your faces at the Resource Connection Centers. We are so grateful for all that you do. So I just wanted to say thank you for that. And before I turn it over to Pam, I did get a couple comments that people who maybe were on the phone could not hear our video of Ms. Melrose, and we would not want to deprive anybody of seeing Ms. Melrose on video. So we are going to email that out to everybody after the event is over, in case you had some trouble with that audio. Sorry about that, but hopefully most people were able to hear it. And now I will turn it over to Pam, our Palmetto Society Chair, to close us out.
Right. Thank you so much, Kristen. So in closing, thank you, Chloe, my goodness, Kathy, Ms. Melrose, and the Trident United Way team for an incredible, excellent discussion this morning. It is a wonderful opportunity to hear firsthand from a success story and how our work is making a difference in this community. I echo Chloe's earlier comments in saying there has never been more of a need in this community, and Trident United Way has never been more vital and critical. Your leadership and your philanthropy will help us rebuild to be the stronger and more resilient community that we can be by making an even bigger impact. I am so proud to lead the Palmetto Society in what I hope to be a year of historic generosity and impact. Thank you for joining us, for taking the time, and we look forward to a time when we can meet again in person. Today, as we have stated earlier, is Giving Tuesday, and we will be raising funds to support the Resource Connection Centers that you heard about today. We are excited to head out to the Moncks Corner location immediately after this to celebrate the amazing work they do and thank our donors for their support. Thank you again for attending and being a part of the Palmetto Society. Have a wonderful day. See you later.